Hi there, and welcome to Side Quest, the in-between adventure podcast we do when we're not doing our main quest. Sometimes we do fascinating interviews, sometimes we play an alternative game, Salty Bastards, check it out if you haven't already, and sometimes we just talk a big old heap and pile of media shit. Guess what we're doing today? But before we get into the big old pile of heaping media shit, who do we have with us? Got a more or less full house. We got Drew Hayes, Joseph Brassey, Rick Walteri, and Robert Bevan. Hello, everyone.
Hello, friends.
Hello. I would like to amend my name to be pronounced as Drew Hayes for this particular introduction.
I should have done the whole Mortal Kombat rundown, made this all sound totally badass. If Drew's clue wasn't enough, what are we talking about today? Have you seen the new Mortal Kombat movie? You've seen it. Don't pretend you're better than me.
It's on HBO Max.
Yeah,
Most of us have gone with at this point.
I have not seen it, and I am looking forward to seeing it.
Bevan, come on, surprises, man. You've definitely seen this movie, right?
I saw the pitch meeting.
Okay, well, you've practically seen the movie then.
There's not much past that.
Well, you know what? I bought HBO because I was morbidly curious about Godzilla vs. King Kong. I was morbidly curious about the Snyder Cut. And morbidly curious about Mortal Kombat. I would say adequately. What's the opposite of surprised? Is there an opposite word for surprised?
Not surprised.
Satisfied? I mean...
Unsurprised.
I mean, no, satisfied's not the right word, Drew.
2 words, blood icicle.
I think
It's like if somebody gives you
unsurprised.
a Christmas present in the shape of a skateboard, and you open it, and it's a skateboard. You're like, well, that's nice. It's completely what I expected.
Expectations.
Is this on?
We need a word
Unsurprised.
for it's all right, but I'm completely unsurprised by it.
I just
Acceptable.
fucking said
We could
unsurprised
price it.
3 times.
How about nonplussed?
Yeah, I need a new word. Nonplussed. Nonplussed is, I don't know. That's too
Minus.
grey area. Right, well, minused?
Yes.
I mean, I call it dead doved because
It
the
is.
scenario you described makes me think of the Arrested Development meme, dead dove do not eat. Looks inside. Well, I don't know what I expected.
God, I love that meme.
Absolutely dead doved.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up HBO Max back in like December because I wanted to see Wonder Woman 84 and stuff. And so far, of the 4 big, premieres, they've been entertaining. Don't get me wrong, but each one of them has had me sitting there going, yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't pay to see this in the theater.
Yeah, I've enjoyed HBO Max's TV a lot more than its movies.
I am glad to see the release format, though. I am glad to see the kind of the exclusivity of theaters going away a bit.
Yes.
I mean, I know that has its drawbacks as well, but I think it's cool that we're now reaching a point where, big films are being released on streaming platforms simultaneously.
I am happy with that. And we did an entire podcast on how we thought that was definitely the future. But judging by the convenient Marvel releases that are coming up, I think a lot of people have just kind of been waiting for this to blow over before they get right back into everyone get back to the fucking cinema, please, because we need the money. But we'll see how it works out.
You know what I liked on HBO? Dream On.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
What is Dream On?
Never heard of it.
God,
Martin Tupper.
Fuck, I know this because the
Dick the
creators
size of
went
an
on
arm.
to make Friends, I
And
think.
I thought I was old.
Or Mad About You or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was basically it was a sitcom with nudity. That's pretty much what Dream On was.
Sold.
Yeah.
All right.
I know way too much about this because I listened to a book about the making of Friends, but Dream On was a sitcom written around the idea of utilizing this shitload of back catalog footage that the studio owned of like old movies and stuff. That's why the characters' dream sequences were always just snippets of old movies and stuff they owned.
That was great.
Oh, dreaming again. The conveniently stock footage dream sequence. I don't think I've ever dreamed in stock footage.
I would like to see that like pitch meeting and say, okay, so we got this back catalog here that's doing nothing for us. We're gonna splice that in there, and in between, tits.
That's recipe for success.
I was about to say it's Muppet Babies all over again until you said tits. We've gone wildly off track already.
I mean,
You're
we in
welcome.
Mortal Kombat both have that in common.
Speaking of tits on a Muppet baby, the new Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, I would say that the thing I had in common with all four of the kind of major releases on HBO Max were, well, that certainly was a fill in the blank of whatever movie it was supposed to be. Reaction. Dead doving to the max. But I thought we could use this as a springboard to talk about, I guess, the evolution of that most maligned of movie genres, rightfully so, the video game movie adaptation. So first of all, just a quick head count again. Who saw the new Mortal Kombat movie?
I did.
You got
Not me.
excellent. What's everybody's thoughts? Have we evolved from the 1990s Mortal Kombat movie, of which an At the Movies podcast exists somewhere on the internet? If you're curious, listeners, go check it out. It was fun.
I liked that they'd put more emphasis on fighting this time. I will give... there's a lot of stuff I didn't like, but I did really enjoy some of the fight scenes. I mean, they do definitely... If you're going to watch the movie, just watch the first fight scene. It's definitely the best.
Oh yeah, they put a lot of thought into setting up that fight scene. It looked like a real movie for a little while there.
Yeah, like it wrote a check that the rest of the movie could definitely not cash.
Yeah, after that opening scene, the movie just takes a hard left turn and just says, all that stuff you just saw, fuck you.
There's still some good fights and some fun like choreography and everything. It's definitely not, not worth watching after that point, but you definitely hit the high watermark at 5 minutes, and that's it.
Yeah. But about a quarter of the way into the movie is like, we've got to go see our military intelligence expert, Sonya Blade, in her compound. You're like, this is just a fucking garden shed in someone's back garden in Utah. And I could see where the budget went.
I feel like they might have perhaps made a misstep in the writing. I recognize that I'm sure this is how the script went, but at a certain point somebody on site needed to go, hey, Kano is far and away the most charismatic character we have on this goddamn screen. Maybe let's not have him betray them halfway through and stop being in it as much.
Spoilers, man, spoilers.
Oh,
yes,
spoilers
ahead. As if you could spoil a Mortal Kombat movie.
Spoilers for a movie that barely has a plot. If you didn't know Kano was a bad guy, spoilers for Mortal Kombat the game.
Yeah, your parents hated you and never let you go to the arcade.
Wait, you mean the bad guy from the video game was a bad guy in the movie?
Who could have foreseen it? But yeah, that was kind of a problem because he was also all of the on-screen fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked Kano. I didn't like anyone else. They just seemed like they turned up and probably weren't being paid enough. I also liked Christ, not Baraka. There are so many fucking Mortal Kombat characters. Who was the one that had the voice of Dewey Crow from Justified?
I don't know the names.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
What monster feature they had?
The only other Mortal Kombat character of any real personality who was also under a mask for most of the time. Yeah, it's like the two bad guys were the only people I liked. Everybody else was just a vaguely muscular human punching somebody else and occasionally saying lines from the video game. And you know what? That's all right for a Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah. That's fine.
I liked the fan service, the fatalities, like the doing the names, like because they abandoned the tournament more or less. But they kind of did it in its own way. But so I liked that they did at least give that consistency to the game.
What I didn't like was the fact that the main character apparently was like made for the movie. Because I didn't realize that going in, so I watched the entire movie going, is this guy going to turn into Johnny Cage or is going to turn into Scorpion? And then we didn't turn into any of them. I was like, was he in one of the games I missed?
Oh, it's such a 90s mistake. Such a 90s marketing mistake. Like, we're going to do a movie to video game and, hey kids, we got a brand new character. Boo. Instant boo. That's not what we came here for.
No, never a good plan.
It's like the otherwise fantastic Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie, where
Here's your
they
main
chose-
character, Gwildor.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that's an obvious example where it worked. I mean, we can all agree Gwildor carried that movie.
I mean, he cleared his gill sacks.
and Frank Langella's Skeletor. I mean,
That's Frank Langella, and that's Skeletor, so they got that right. If they suddenly said, like, well, instead of Skeletor, we'll have Frank Langella as an entirely new character, non-skeleton themed, I would have been furious.
normal world people in that movie. Like, you know, here's He-Man, here's all the other characters kicking each other's ass, and here's Courtney Cox.
Exactly.
I thought you meant Skeletor's minions, where like they could have had like, you know, Trapjaw and Merman, but instead they're like, here's Snake Guy and Guy with Swords.
Here's Wig Man.
Wigman.
But you're absolutely right. I think the argument of this Cole character in Mortal Kombat is like, oh, we need somebody who needs the rules of Mortal Kombat explained to him. I'm like, that could have been any one of the 100 palette swapped Mortal Kombat characters you already have.
Yeah, like Jax and Sonya also went into this not really knowing how it worked. They were like one half step ahead of Cole. It was a weird choice
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious choice would have been
to put Gwildor
Johnny
in.
Cage, but well, the Gwildor. Just put Gwildor in every single fucking movie, and that's how you make money.
I think they made him a family man to try to like, you know, add some like needless drama to like pad it out a bit. But here's the thing: in a Mortal Kombat, it's a Mortal Kombat thing, so it's like, okay, you're putting your wife and child on the screen, and I still don't care if they live or die.
Yeah,
I'm like, punch through them, fatality. Okay.
There was no need for anything with Cole. That whole great opening scene with the character that is ultimately, spoilers again, although this one you should be able to figure out, Scorpion. Like, fuck Cole. Just you have set up all the motivation you need. Follow that guy.
Yeah, just Scorpion.
If Cole had turned out to be like Scorpion, like, you know, reincarnated, that's what I thought it was gonna do, and I was like, okay, that could work. But instead, it's just like,
that'd be fine.
yeah, Scorpion just kind of shows up at the end, and it's just kind of like, okay.
And Cole gets a very stupid power.
Get rid of the family at all, or at least have like Goro take the daughter and club the mother to death with the daughter. That'd be very fitting for kind of like making Scorpion.
You know something?
angry.
It's R-rated. You might as well go for it.
It's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You've got no business putting civilians in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the Cole family stuff felt as in place as the human stuff in a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, or a
As
He-Man
in,
movie.
you could cut it the fuck out.
That's
Yeah,
true.
at least like a movie like Deep Blue Sea had like, you know, had the balls to basically like, you know, kill Samuel Jackson mid like awesome speech.
Yeah, that was a move.
That was ballsy for such a terrible film.
Like that would have been awesome. Like the little girl's like, "Oh, Daddy, I love you." Oh, suddenly a fist erupts through her chest. That's how you throw a curveball to the audience and go, "Well, damn, they went there."
Yeah, I mean, like the new movie covers will be like, "Oh, that was unexpected." Mortal Kombat fans will be like, "That was long overdue."
Mortal Kombat fans would be like, "Okay, now I need that in the game."
If the next iteration of Mortal Kombat does not allow me to punch a child through the ceiling, then I've been severely let down.
What is the most recent iteration of Mortal Kombat? The game.
I don't
The
know.
one we
X7?
are discussing. Or are you talking about the game?
The game.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like a million Mortal Kombats. I gave up trying to keep up.
11, I think,
I
is
was
the most
wondering,
recent.
because
there's
are they still making them? Is my question.
Oh,
Yes.
they're
Oh, all right.
definitely
Oh,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I thought this was just like
they're gonna milk that stone dry.
okay, because I haven't
churn
played them
those
since
bad
the
boys out.
'90s, and I thought, why are they making a movie about this?
They've got
But,
guest
okay.
stars. They've had Leatherface in there, Freddy Krueger, the Joker from Batman.
Yeah, they had Mortal Kombat versus DC superheroes, which was kind of surreal. Like Superman versus Kano. I wonder how this will turn out.
Well, they managed to balance it all very well. Yeah, speaking of fan service, There was a lot of concentration on trying to recreate the finishing moves and really kind of winking at the camera for the game fans, which makes a lot of sense. You got Kano ripping someone's heart out and literally saying Kano wins after he does it. But I can't help but think that the games have advanced so much now that they might not quite be there, but they're nearly there, where their effects are probably as good as what the movie guys can pull off. Or at least like in intention. I don't know. It was definitely fan service for the video game fans. I mean, they would have appreciated it. I don't know if they necessarily did it better than the video games are already doing, which is a relatively new problem for video game movies to have.
Yeah,
leave us not forget we are now approaching the era when it's not just Yui Bowl making video game movies.
Yeah, I mean, this was never a problem in the Super Mario days, where it's like, well, I don't know if the on-screen Goomba can possibly stand up to the 16-bit Goomba representation.
Well, they failed.
Although somehow it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did fail.
But
not because of technology, just because of
dumb fuckery.
Tiny lizard heads or whatever.
I say the Blood Rain movies failed because, well, Joseph already said it. Uwe Boll, because the guy couldn't make a coherent movie if you held him at gunpoint.
Well, let's go back to Uwe because we can't talk about video games without talking about that crazy bastard, who I believe once offered to fight internet detractors back when internet tough guys were still a thing.
Yeah, he declared he was the only fucking genius in the business.
It's quite bold. A bold statement, really.
Damn, I gotta get into this business.
I think it might have been Sean Baby who actually went in the ring with him. Said, yeah, he's an alright fighter, but still a really bad filmmaker.
Yeah, it's like think of
was
like
the
a less talented David Lynch.
Look, David Lynch does his own thing. So does Uwe Boll,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, he just does it on a magnitude more terrible.
Far more terrible. I remember there being an Alone in the Dark movie with Christian Slater. I liked the Alone in the Dark video game. I thought Christian Slater, he's long overdue a comeback. Boy, was I disappointed. That's before I learned to associate the name Uwe Boll with don't waste your fucking time.
Maybe Yui better hang on to that money.
I can't think of David Lynch without thinking of his quote about Eraserhead. He's like, Eraserhead is my most spiritual film. Could you explain that, please? No.
That sounds about right.
Uwe Boll probably said that to all his movies. Like, fill in the blank movie I made is my best film. Can you explain that? No, and no one can.
And then he punches out whoever asked him.
How dare you?
Get in the ring.
How dare you? Just starts hitting him.
I do that when people ask me about shingles.
Shingles is my most spiritual book. Can you explain that? Do you want me to?
That's something that needs to be inflicted upon like a world that's burning. Shingles, directed by Uwe Boll.
Oh God!
Wow.
Finally, the seventh seal is broken.
You hear Diablo from Diablo 2. Not even death can save you from me.
So, talking about video game movies in general, I thought my verdict on the Mortal Kombat movie was, again, with most of the HBO entries, it was a Mortal Kombat movie. It's like, if you dig the video games, there's going to be some things in there that you quite like. Nothing to do with the main character at all, which is, generally a detriment in most films. And yeah, it was just, you're going to come away. There was some Mortal Kombat stuff in there. It's fine. But, I don't know. Who remembers the 90s Mortal Kombat movie?
The one we did in Authors and Dragons on?
Oh, very much so. I saw it opening night in the theaters.
I took someone on a date for that movie when I was a young man.
Wow.
That relationship did not last long.
I mean, you put the relationship into a finishing move.
But I think that also speaks to what this one was like, was missing. the other one, like the original Mortal Kombat, it knew what it was, and then and it basically said, something as ridiculous as it is, we're gonna have Cary Tagawa on one side chewing up scenery as like Shang Tsung, and then we're gonna say, oh fuck it, Christopher Lambert as Raiden
For no reason.
for no reason, but fuck all. It's Christopher Lambert, and you know something? He's wearing a white wig, and we're not going to question this shit.
I was just gonna say the best thing Christopher Lambert has ever been in, like, fuck Highlander. It's his Beowulf 2021 movie, or Beowulf 2000, I think. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fucking incredible.
I might have to see that. We might have to ATM that.
It's him at his most cross-eyed.
We've had him as Tarzan, so an Englishman raised in the heart of the jungle. We've had him as an immortal Scotsman. I don't think I've ever seen him as a Frenchman, so yeah, why not cast him as a Chinese thunder god or whatever?
Yeah. Christopher Lambert was Scarlett Johansson before it was cool.
The funny thing though is I don't recall anybody saying a word of it. Like, it's kind of everybody just kind of accepted that this is fucking ridiculous. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're hang on, Raiden's being played by a French dude. It's like, God, get out of the Mortal Kombat movie. I don't even know if there is a Chinese thunder god. I mean, he's wearing a stereotypical Chinese hat. It looks like everyone in the original Mortal Kombat game looks like they just had a case of props and 8 minutes to make a character. And that's what they did. And it became instantly iconic.
I'm pretty sure that's actually what they did.
Look, here's some sunglasses. You're a movie star. Here is a Chinese hat. You're a thunder god, whatever. I don't know. What's the Chinese thunder god called? I don't know. This is before the internet. That would take too much time. Just make something up.
Actually, Raiden is a Japanese deity.
All right.
But,
well, I'm surprised.
But definitely, but I doubt he was envisioned in ancient feudal Japan as Christopher Lambert.
No.
Although maybe he was, for all I know.
I reckon that was a lucky guess, to be honest, Rick. I don't think they did any research at all. I think they found that hat in the costume box, made up a name, and it was a lucky guess. But yeah, the 90s Mortal Kombat movie, I think there'd been maybe 2 Mortal Kombat video games by then, both arcade smashes.
Yeah,
it did all right.
Mm-hmm.
It did. I think it did okay. It had all the major characters in there. It had a coherent plot. It did all right with its set dressing and its costuming and its fan service, especially for the time when video games did not have nearly as much power as they do these days.
And yet it still only had marginally better special effects than the arcade game.
That's true. I mean, CGI. The CGI back then was not pretty. I mean, we're talking late 90s. I think it was another 5 years, maybe more than that, before CGI became acceptable to the human eye. But it definitely wasn't in that movie. The lizards and Scorpion's thing coming out of his hand for whatever reason, that did not look good.
But it was kind of fun. I don't know. The campiness, just, I don't know. I feel like if the version we watched had a instead of all the stupid stuff about Cole and his family, if that had been filled with the dumb camp, I feel like I would have enjoyed the movie overall a lot more.
Yeah, I mean the thing was, yeah, I mean, the original one is it's not exactly a great like cinematic masterpiece, but it knows what it is. It pretty much starts off loud. It never stops being loud. It's pretty much just it was a dopey popcorn movie, and it kind of succeeds in that.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that the modern Mortal Kombat movie also knew what it was going for, and just had this level of pretension where they thought, what this movie needs is heart. So we're going to have this guy named Cole, and he's going to have a wife and kid, and everybody else was just like sitting there going, okay, how can we get Scorpion to impale somebody in the first 5 minutes of this movie, and not really paying attention to this guy who was going on about heart and really putting something in there for people. And I also think it was budgets. Like, you could have had Johnny Cage in there, but they would have had to up their writing to make that acceptable. And also they would have had to film somewhere that wasn't someone's shed in their back garden or sweaty gym that their friend owns. So I mean, these guys, they had one expensive set, and they used it, quite well.
See, I'm going to disagree with you there. A little bit of smart writing. They show up at, like, at Sonya's shack. She's got, like, Kano tied up. Suddenly she opens the trunk of her car. Oh, yeah, we kidnapped this movie star, too, Johnny Cage. Boom. Solved, and all you need is somebody's hatchback.
And then the lizard jumps out, kills the supposed main character, Cole, and we're like, right, now that's out of the way. Excellent. Let's carry on with the Mortal Kombat movie. Sorry, Gwildor. Fuck you.
You'll never defeat my cosmic key, Sub-Zero.
If they could put Gwildor in a Mortal Kombat game, it's like if you select him as a character, you're not allowed to do anything to defend yourself. That'd be brilliant. That'd be a brilliant Mortal Kombat.
Your finishing move is suddenly driving a tricked-out Cadillac over your opponent without any warning.
With a bucket of fried chicken next to you.
Every button you press just empties your gill sacks.
Just sprays them out.
Till somebody puts you out of your misery.
You play this character to die creatively.
I'd play that character.
You do play that character.
It'd be like, oh, come on, Bob, you join this tournament we're having. I don't want to. I'll be Gwildor. Let's get this over with.
I could just see someone. God, stop spraying me with your gill slits, man. You just keep mashing that button over and over.
I didn't ask to play. This is that party planning episode we did all over again.
I will say, I didn't hate the new Mortal Kombat movie. I didn't think it was a good movie by any stretch of the word, but I thought it was a Mortal Kombat movie, and I think that's all it needed to be, and that was fine. So, moving away from that, what is your favourite, or least favourite, probably least favourite, video game movie?
Actually, I think there's an easy favorite out there. Rampage. You have giant monsters and you have The Rock, which pretty much is a really hard combo to fuck up.
You know what? Yeah, I watched Rampage. I don't know what I was expecting. Again, I just watched it and went, well, yeah, that was a Rampage movie. I mean, it was like an 8-bit arcade game from a long time ago about giant monsters beating each other up over a city, and they offered me a high-resolution version of that with The Rock in it. I don't know what else he could have done. Definitely punched it its own weight. Of course, like, putting The Rock in anything, like, puts a solid, 15% on the overall quality. That's true.
That's what they should have done with Mortal Kombat. They should have had The Rock as Raiden.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Other than that they could not afford the fucking Rock.
Before we fully move past the Mortal Kombat contemporary movie, can we pause and talk for a moment, and again, spoilers, about the powers that they unlock within themselves? Which I recognize as them trying to justify the Mortal Kombat abilities, but Sonya getting the blaster forearms was funny. The one we just have to talk about is that Jax is better metal arms.
Joe, I didn't want to talk about this because I thought it was kind of I don't know, it kind of made sense. It's like, in this instance of the Mortal Kombat movie, you're born with a special mark, which means you have to fight in the tournament. And if you have that mark, you can unlock a superpower, which has absolutely no relation to anything kind of about you at all. You might get a laser eye, you might get forearm rings, you might get whatever that new character had. Fuck him, I'm not even going to talk about him. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was a quick way of saying, and this is why they can do superhuman things. But I don't think it was as intelligently done as the first Mortal Kombat movie, where they managed to get Sonya Blade's finishing move in quite a kind of practical, semi-realistic way. She kind of blew a load of dust into a flame and made an explosion by making it look like she was blowing a kiss, like she did in the original game, back when video game girls had to do things like that because they were girls. Whereas this, it's just like, now I got my new power. What is it? I can shoot laser rings from my arms. And nobody says, well, why? Because if you did that, there'd just be a really awkward silence.
This is why I don't like superhero shit.
No, the question I have is, what would have Jax's power have been if his arms hadn't been blown off and replaced with shitty Captain America metal? Would he have lost his original flesh arms anyway? Would they have exploded off in a shower of gore?
God!
Here was the
This
thing.
is my power!
Here was the thing about the Jax actor. That, like, Jax had, before he got his arms ripped off, his superpower was having a wicked sweet pair of guns. Then he got his arms ripped off. And you're like, okay, well, he's going to get his metal arms. And for some reason, they gave him little chicken arms for a while and made him train with those. Like, no one was secretly laughing at him. We were all secretly laughing at him, even though it was terrible to do so. And then he was like, oh, I finally got my special power. I've got wicked sweet guns again. It's just like, well, that's not really a character arc. That's just going full circle. But, I don't know. They could have just had him, like, I don't know. It's like, your special power is having arms again.
Then you end the movie with just one of those thoughtful speeches of, I found my place, and it's right back where I started.
I mean, maybe just flip him and Sonya's roles and don't give him a mark and just give him metal arms. And like, yeah, this about evens the field. You don't have magic, but you have cyborg arms.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's Mortal Kombat. It's like, we have monks that can give you metallic chicken arms that work. It's like, what? Why not just give him, like, advanced military technology? Because then you'd have to pay for another set, you cheap bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kano calls it out the best, of course. So you could get Frisbee hat.
That is a good point. What's your superpower? Frisbee hat. Maybe we should just lose the tournament. Maybe we deserve this.
Yeah, if I were that
right.
guy, I'd be like, wait, my power is this Frisbee hat? Well, what if I lose the hat? Then you're fucked.
Well, you teleport to the hat, so if you lose it, it's sort of on you, man.
Yeah, Rick. Read the video game logic. The fucking insane video game logic.
I mean, I say that, but I have also walked around a house wearing my glasses, looking for my glasses, so...
I thought you were going to say, I've walked around my house wearing a Frisbee hat for no real reason.
There's always a reason, Rick.
I mean, if I could find one, the reason would be because it looks fucking rad.
I had a Frisbee hat. It's in the woods somewhere now. I don't know where it went.
Well, I guess we know what your superpower is not.
My superpower is losing Frisbee hats.
I'm not going to say it was a total mistake to say, like, oh, you have a Mortal Kombat power within you and you can... But that kind of has to make sense. If you just did that in a movie that wasn't tied to a video game, it would be like the angry guy gets fire powers and, the strong guy gets the metal arms, which I guess kind of happened. And it wouldn't be like, and the woman gets to shoot energy rings from her hand. It'd be like, well, that doesn't make sense. And the martial artist gets a magic hat. It's like, well, you're just talking shit now. This isn't good writing. And the reason it isn't good writing is because it's a 1993 video game, which notoriously didn't have good writing.
Also, going back to Fantastic Four, just it pisses me off. Fucking, all right.
Bevan's still very angry about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I am, and I always will be.
Movie or
Leaving
just
that
No,
made
just
sense,
the concept. Just fucking space
Oh, okay.
rays, and here's some random shit you all get.
Well, it's not random because the thing is the tough guy exterior with the heart of gold, so he gets the rock skin. Johnny Storm is the hot head.
All right.
And,
That's one that, yeah, again, space rays.
The cosmic... Well, if you can give me, like, a blow-by-blow account of how to give someone superpowers, I'm not going to say I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to say I'm going to go out and get superpowers.
All right. Like take Spider-Man for instance. Like, gets bit by a spider. It's stupid, but it's got a logic. These people were all hit by the same space rays, and just fuck you.
But the powers mapped onto their personality. They didn't say like, well, she's the hard-headed military type, so she can shoot pink rings from her wrist. That's what Mortal Kombat did.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat truly was like, no, we're not doing any of that like interconnected meaning shit. Your power is whatever you get.
Although I kind of like that idea of the story. It's like I went up in space, got hit by cosmic rays. I was the tough guy, and I came back with frisbee hat.
That would make just as much sense to me.
I got hit with magic rays in space. I'm the tough guy, so I get the ability to transform into an anime magical girl.
Well, see, even that has some logic, Joe, because it's funny. But, that would just imply that the universe has a sense of humor. But it still doesn't. It's like, you're a really competent martial artist, so your power is this magical hat. I mean, that's just, it sounds like just a very fucking old man who's been in charge of handing out leftover superpowers that he's found lying around.
I trained for 30 years at Shaolin Temple, and I unlocked my special power, which is this indestructible wallet.
I'm in a bad mood now.
You didn't even watch the movie.
Well, yeah, but you made me think about the Fantastic Four.
No one made you
I feel
think
like
about
you made you think about the Fantastic.
You're always thinking about the Fantastic Four. You give that movie a lot of headspace, man.
This is why I don't have hair.
I mean, Steve had to think about Gwildor, so.
Well, we all had to think about Gwildor, Drew. We're all still thinking about Gwildor.
Who else has a video game movie they either love or don't love?
Can I pick a web series?
No.
Well, fuck you. I'm doing that because
we barely had a concept for this side quest.
well,
You can't just wander off into the weeds.
I don't know how many I've seen. Like I've seen Super Mario Brothers and whatever we watched on ATM, and that's it. I think. So
Street Fighter. Don't forget Street Fighter.
well, that was what we saw on ATM. I guess. Anyway, I was gonna pick Legend of Neil. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Is that a video game?
No, it was a web series about a guy playing Legend of Zelda, and he like chokes himself with his Nintendo cord while he jacks off to the little 8-bit fairy, and he gets transported into the Zelda game. Worth watching.
That sounds.
I
Wow.
have definitely not seen that one.
Ah,
That sounds like it needs to be made into a movie.
well,
That sounds like it needs to be made into a shingles.
no, well, I mean, I can't do that. It's been done. Legend of Neil. Go. Oh man, I can't believe Steve. No.
No, the tables have turned here.
No, I haven't seen it.
Come on, you could do that. You could be like, here's Super Jack Brothers,
Super Jack Brothers.
Oh well.
Practical writes itself.
Uwe Boll did. I know. I keep coming back to that man. He did a movie that was unintentionally amazing, which is In the Name of the King, which is his Dungeon Siege movie, and it's amazing because it has fucking Burt Reynolds in it. It has Jonathan Rhys-Davies. It has like Ray Liotta and Lily Sobieski, and it's got fucking Matthew Lillard. It's like this is a bunch of people who just really wanted to be in a fantasy movie. And they did not give a shit. They did not give one single shit. Oh yeah, it's got Jason Statham as
Jesus.
well. It's terrible and also fucking amazing. It's truly awful, but yeah.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's got, like I said, it's got like Jonathan Rhys-Davies and like Burt Reynolds and
It's just got some guys who are just like lying around with nothing in their immediate schedules.
yeah, basically, and like God, like I said, there's Matthew Lillard yelling, "I am your king!"
I mean, Jason Statham at that time, I don't think he was big as he is now, but he was
No.
definitely bigger than the Uwe Boll movie.
Yeah,
And
I
yet.
think he just wanted to be in a fantasy movie.
Well, he's an active guy. Want to swing a sword about? Why not? I mean, God forbid he tries to do any other accent but his own accent. He tried that once. It was horrible. So, yeah, put him in a fantasy setting. where a Cockney accent is entirely acceptable. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are.
Man, I have been racking my brain trying to think of a video game movie I liked, and the only one that came close was Jumanji, which is not a video game movie. It's a board game-ish movie.
A board game they made up for the movie. I don't
Yes,
think
but
that
they did make the
counts.
board game afterwards, so it's sort of, snaky.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
thing.
so mine counts now.
True.
I will ultimately talk about Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
I worked so hard to come up with a concept. Can you please just? Can everyone
I'm
just
getting
please
there.
stay in
I'm
these really
I'm
broad
wandering
ways?
about. The one I'll talk about is Super Mario Brothers, the movie, because it's bad. It's bad. But I was a child when I saw it, and I was able to sort of lie to myself, as you do, and like find things that I enjoyed. And now I don't know. It's such a shit show to watch, but I kind of enjoy the shit show that it is, and knowing that Bob Hoskins is drunk off his ass most of the time, uh, and like almost died a few times during the shot, broke his foot, like just you're just watching Bob Hoskins deeply regret not reading a script.
I actually, now that I think about it, there is a video game movie that I would actually qualify as being kind of good, and that's the Warcraft movie.
I'm not
It's
sure I
not-
get that far.
It's not terrible. Like, it's not truly awful.
When you consider what Warcraft is, it's quite epic. And they did kind of shoot for the moon on that, of a competent director, a good cast, a fair CGI budget and artistry for the time. Did surprisingly well in China. I don't think it was something I noticed about that movie. It wasn't really structured in a Hollywood-friendly way.
No, it wasn't.
It was more like a historical epic. But you're thinking, wait a minute, this isn't history.
There's no orcs in history.
They tricked you yet again.
I thought a fair effort, but I don't know. I guess I'm not in a hurry for, was it David Jones to pull out another Warcraft movie? But
David Bowie's son, I think.
that's true. He did Moon. Like I say, a competent director knows what he's doing. Ambitious material.
I mean,
I don't remember it. I wasn't playing Warcraft at the time, so I don't remember kind of a lot of things going over my head. So he must have struck a good balance between fan service and everyday accessibility, or he must have skimped entirely on the fan service. I don't know. I think at the time I'd played the kind of overhead sort of olden times Warcraft games, where it was a bit like Age of Empires, and it's like, oh, the orcs are going from village to village. It's like, I remember that happening. I'm down with this movie.
from the pile of piece of shit video game movies, I don't know if this qualifies or not, Steve. We can bat it about, because it definitely does involve real video games, and that would be Pixels.
Oh,
I will. You know something? I kind of have the opposite of Pixels in that it's good, and it does kind of the same thing. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
ooh. Yeah, I mean those are two good examples of movies that are about video games and video game culture. One of them good, directed by Edgar Wright with a cast. One of them with Adam Sandler in it, who frankly just wants his paycheck and to go home early. And yeah, I hated Pixels. I thought it was a great fun concept for children who had never heard of those video games that just had Adam Sandler in it. It is absolute I don't give a fuck and I don't want to be here, Edness.
Yeah, I never watched it, but
Yeah, it's a weird. The end on like Josh Gad is fucking Qbert. Like Qbert has shape changed into the shape of a human woman, but it's Qbert, as is shown by the children that they bear being more Qberts, and that
Yeah, they don't pull any punches with that, Drew. That's right. The joke is that the nerd who is obsessed with a video game character eventually is rewarded with that video game character, because they change Cuba into the sexy video game character. And you think, well, maybe that's just how these pixels work. They take different forms. But no, then we are treated to an after credits scene where he is raising little Qbert, suggesting that not only did he fuck this video game character, but that video game character was Cuba all the time. Presumably his nose acting as the vagina in that.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Why bother changing form? If you want to fuck Cubert, you go right there into the nose.
Yeah. I mean, well, your logic is impeccable, Bevan. The logic of this movie, not so much.
Yeah, it's a bad movie, Bevan. That's the answer.
It's a bad movie.
They skipped the Cubert fuck logic for bad movie.
They would have thrown you right out of the writer's room, Bevan. Say, get that man out of here. He's complicating my vision.
Talking too much sense.
Yeah. And they would have went home and fucked their Cuberts right in the nose.
Speaking of Scott Pilgrim, that movie with the whole like people exploding into coins when you kill them, I swear to God, that movie somehow managed to be more disturbingly gory with its coin splattering than a lot of Gorefest movies are.
I love that it's not even enough for bus change or bus fare.
he just headbutted that boy into loose change. This is horrific. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim is a great movie.
Yeah, that's one I've seen multiple times.
I think Scott Pilgrim is a great movie for a very specific, for a specific kind of audience. It's a real you had to be there kind of movie.
I don't know about that. What it does. My kids love it. My wife loves it. She is not into the whole scene. I think it's accessible. Just you got to be open to things.
I would call it a vastly underrated movie.
I don't know.
Well, it's Edgar Wright.
It's generally beloved. It just didn't make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. No, apparently when it came out, nobody did.
Squares, Bevan. Squares didn't love it.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful movie. That's a testament to that directorial talent. That was the movie that Edgar Wright had been waiting for. Great. Shaun of the Dead, great. But I think there was only maybe one dude who could have done that at that time, and that was the right dude at the right time.
Yeah, that movie was great. Sadly not based on a video game, based on a graphic novel, but still an excellent film.
Heavily about video games, yeah. I get that. We can put Pixels versus Scott Pilgrim safely in their own little category where there was one very obvious clear winner.
It's like you didn't even make that a fight, man.
Yeah. Pixels just headbutted into a pile of loose change there.
Yeah, that was Goro versus that little girl.
I was going to say Superman versus Gwildor.
I don't know, man. Superman's vulnerable to magic.
That's true, and a lot of people actually forget that.
Yeah, that's why he could have a solid fight with He-Man, but not Gwildor, who doesn't do any magic, but just empties his gill slits and fails to operate a cosmic key he invented. Like a prick.
Oh yeah, I remember that discussion going on like Twitter a few months ago after WandaVision wrap. People were like, oh, some people think that Wanda could beat Superman. How silly. And it's like, y'all are really telling on yourselves.
Yeah.
You don't know shit about basic Superman mythology. It's like, yeah, magic is he's got to fuck off.
Yeah, why do you think he hasn't just punched like Mr. Mistleplick into oblivion by now?
That's when he's like, all right, Diana of Themyscira, tag out. Magic
chick with a top hat, chronic smoker with a trench coat, tagging you guys in. If anyone needs me, I'll be I don't know, doing all the other cool shit. Bye-bye.
I'll be stopping 10 natural disasters while y'all deal with this, just in case anybody gets a big head.
All this non-real world bullshit, that's your domain. I'll be dealing with all the very real world problems. When we're talking about good video game movies, we are talking about the scale of video game movies, which is swinging very much below the scale of actual movies. So I'm going to say Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
I haven't seen it.
I still haven't seen it.
I was pleasantly surprised by. Because really, after watching the Super Mario Brothers movie, when I was a little kid, I really wanted to fucking love that movie. And I remember thinking, they did the Yoshi puppet really well. And, they got them in their costume and they were jumping about. And, the Big Bertha wasn't a giant fish. It was just a large lady. But points for trying. There was a bomb.
No points.
There's actually a video. It's technically is a video game movie that nobody's mentioned yet, which is actually good, and that's Detective Pikachu.
Fuck, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, Detective Pikachu is pretty good, and it's definitely based on a franchise that includes video games.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because, all right, fair enough, that's fair. But Pokemon was always like a massive television hit series. There are people out there who already appreciate Pokemon who have never played the video games.
That's true.
So plenty to work with there, but people do like Detective Pikachu. Certainly a bold direction. Frankly, I'm not interested unless Team Rocket get uppercutted into the fucking stratosphere. But that's fine. But, as much as my expectations were set by the Super Mario Brothers movie, which was a failure in many respects, a bizarre and unsettling failure, and maybe worthy of examination on those factors. Sonic the Hedgehog movie I thought was going to be more of the same, because what can you do with a supersonic blue hedgehog? That's ridiculous. Can't do nothing with that. There's no sane writer that can make a sensible movie out of that, and yet they did. They had Jim Carrey as Eggman. They had James Marsden as yet another guy standing alongside a CGI character, because he must have pissed someone off in Hollywood, because that's all he does now.
James Marsden is just happy for the work.
He's fine. He's doing all right. He's just like, you want me to stand in front of a green screen and be the straight man for something that doesn't exist? I'm your dude.
All right. Is this the rabbit or the hedgehog?
I'm really sorry about whatever it was I did. Rabbit, hedgehog, I'm sorry.
It's a Gwildor. Okay, even I have a line.
No, you would do it. James Marsden would absolutely do a Gwildor movie. And he'd do it with a smile on his face. He's a fucking professional. But
walking away going, my check's cashed.
Yeah, and Hollywood's also definitely totally got something on that guy. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, surprisingly cohesive Supersonic Hedgehog movie with Jim Carrey as the Eggman.
Should we do that for an At the Movies, seeing as so many of us haven't seen it?
Maybe, but I think we'll just kind of spend the entire ATM experience just being mildly gobsmacked by the mild incompetence. I don't know if that's a fun viewing experience.
We talking about Masters of the Universe or?
No.
We already did Masters
that
of the
one
Universe.
we did.
Oh,
I
right.
missed that one.
Oh,
I'm still sad about it.
Yeah, me too.
No, we were talking about Sonic.
Oh, that's right.
Part of me would actually love to see the version with the teeth.
Oh God, yeah.
Just a whole cut of that would be weird.
There was a whole thing back then. They were like, "Oh, don't let these fanboys get their way with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie." And I was like, "Oh no, this looks like." I mean, this original Sonic design you've got, it looks like a sex thing for a guy I don't want to hang out with. So it was like, all right, maybe you shouldn't listen to the raging fanboys all the time. But I don't know, they're 2 for 2 at the moment. Sonic the Hedgehog movie, that was a good call. Don't make it look like a weird sex thing. And it's Snyderverse, also a good call. Maybe don't harass people off the internet, you psychotic fucks, but I don't know. I can't complain about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie or the Snyderverse recap.
Yeah, there is no doubt in the case of Sonic, toxic fandom actually did something good.
It's like, this looks like something a grandma knitted for her perverted son and then put the teeth of her dead husband in. Shall we release this movie? No, let's redesign that hedgehog. It was a good call. Well done.
Oh my God. Okay, I just saw what Rick dropped in the Slack.
Oh, I'm definitely using the original Sonic the Hedgehog as the graphic for this episode on YouTube.
Coward. Oh no, yes, do that. God, yeah, that I want someone to remake it with the original horrifying version, just to see it.
Just a different movie where it's some kind of Pinocchio scenario. It's like, I want to be a real boy.
How many eyes of children must I eat before I become a real boy? God, it's so so horrifying.
This is what real boys look like, right? They're terrifying. Mother, come back. Yeah, a different that would be a different Sonic the Hedgehog movie, where the only thing he's running from is his own existence.
You know, there's a designer out there somewhere who's just sitting there smoking cigarettes, drinking cheap beer, bitter as fuck because he came up with that original design, and damn it, that was the superior one.
God, I listen to the Doughboys podcast pretty regularly, and I believe it was Evan Susser, who's a continuing recurrence on their podcast. He was a writer on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie in its original incarnation.
Oh wow.
So I don't know exactly what happened, but I do, like, from listening to the podcast, they had a thing where he was like, yeah, my name's not on it. They changed so much that we are no longer considered writers on the project.
Was his opening paragraph, Sonic the Hedgehog appears. He looks like a nightmarish fuck. That case he deserved not to be on the movie.
Yeah, I have no idea if anybody's that curious. Go back and listen to some old Doughboys episodes. But
Sonic the Hedgehog appears. He has too many teeth.
It's weird hearing from people who were actually, like, impacted by those massive shakeups. It's like, ooh, boy, that was good for the movie, but sucks on an individual level.
I don't know. I'd be taking that on my CV. I was the guy who wrote the nightmare version of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. You know, the Hell Dimension version.
The writers don't design what they look like.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they had to. I think they changed more than just the design. Probably seemed a lot was going on back there.
If I was writing the original Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I'd be like, Sonic the Hedgehog appears. It looks like he should have a Hitler mustache for reasons I can't comprehend.
Then he gets dumped in toxic waste and comes out looking like the one we were hoping for.
This is Sonic the Hedgehog. He has weirdly human hands.
This is Sonic the Hedgehog, the sum of all fears.
One thing I do know about the Sonic movie is that they did the same thing as the new Mortal Kombat, where they, for some reason, invented a new character, even though Sonic has a shitload of characters. The weird owl one at the beginning. Not James Marsden.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't count.
I thought you meant James Marsden. Well, he was kind of out there, just being James Marsden in a movie. But, you're right. There was kind of like a caretaker. Well, it was an anthropomorphic animal who was on screen for about 12 seconds. I mean, there's a lot of fairies in Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't be expected to keep track of them all.
Yeah, it was just like, why did y'all bother creating a whole new design for something when there's just shelves and shelves of anthropomorphic animals you could have used that would have counted as Easter eggs?
Yeah, I mean, a video game fan should have been like, look, designers, I have all these sticky photographs of the furries available in Sonic the Hedgehog.
We want to see the bat with the boobs.
Just the producer, just like, this is great and all, but where's the bat with tits? I know what the people want.
They kept jamming up the scanner.
They just had to get rid of the bat with the tits. It's like, no one's getting any work done in the animation team. Just constant masturbation. Get rid of the tit bat.
What do you replace with? I don't know, an owl. Owls aren't sexy, right?
I don't know. They can turn their heads around.
Give some serious eye contact. I don't know. Maybe that's why the original design of Sonic the Hedgehog was so terrifying. Maybe they just needed to make it less sexy. I don't know.
Like a librarian.
Like I can't get any work done. Give them some more teeth. Well, I don't know. I wasn't there for the process. I am fascinated to find out what happened from beginning to end in that movie. I really do hope there's a documentary. But they landed on an alright movie. It was fine. There's going to be a sequel. I imagine James Marsden's living comfortably. I'm happy about that.
The man works for his money. He deserves it.
Yeah, he does alright. He turns up for work every day, gets upstaged by something that isn't there. But, he does it with a smile on his face. I appreciate that.
The success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and Detective Pikachu does sort of bode well, hopefully, for video game movies, because it shows that if you put some money into them and, don't treat them like weird tax schemes, then you actually can make money off of them. And if there is one lesson we know Hollywood listens to, it's anything that makes money.
That's a good point, Drew, except both
Yeah.
of those movies came out before the Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, the Mortal Kombat series I think is doing its own thing. I'm not taking that as they were going more the classic route. They didn't sink a shitload of money into it. Or if they did, somebody made off with a shitload of money.
But you know what? They made a movie that pleased Mortal Kombat fans, and if they could do that while engaging in massive tax evasion schemes, fair play to them.
If you have HBO Max, I would say the new Mortal Kombat is worth checking out. At least the first fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
A few beers and some popcorn, it's all right.
Yeah.
If you're into Mortal Kombat, yeah, why not?
Just don't get up and run to the bathroom right when that fight scene ends, because you'll come back and be like, "The fuck happened?"
Yeah. I'm not saying get HBO Max for it. I'm not saying rent it. I'm just saying if you already have it.
Take advantage of what you've got.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a good reminder that video game movies exist, and that many of them are terrible. Interestingly terrible, I think. And there's a few diamonds in the rough. Or chaos jewels in the rough, I guess. That's one for all you video game nerds out there. So who knows what the future will be? Will it be more transparent tax avoidance schemes like Yui Ball? Or will we have some actual video game movies made by people who actually give a fuck about the video game, like David Jones? But who knows? In the meantime, keep watching bullshit and we'll keep watching it too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.